Hi everyone, welcome back to another continuing education check-in. Today we have another very special guest that we brought along to talk about long distance relationships. And so today we're talking about best practices, and our special guest, do you want to introduce yourself? How do you know us? What is your relationship to this podcast? Do you listen? What keeps you listening?
It's a lot of questions. Hi, I'm Tracy. I know Ethan and Sonia through work, but also just living in the general same area, being in the Bay. What were your other questions? How long have I been listening to this podcast?
Do you even listen?
I do listen. I listen every week. And it's been fun to watch the podcast grow and also like hear different topics, and like they're good conversation starters. I feel like that's like the really fun thing. I've been trying to share the podcast with everyone I know because it's a fun conversation topic. Yeah.
Tracy has been one of the biggest supporters of this podcast. She has found people who were willing to donate their dating profiles for us and even coming on to be a guest. But Tracy's always one of the first listeners every week, and we know this because we don't have a lot of listeners yet. And so like I'm able to see like how many views we get right when we release.
Oh, that's so funny.
So Tracy's always one of the first. Well, I don't know that it's Tracy, but I assume it's Tracy.
I just think Mondays are a good release time because it's like, oh, I'm commuting to work, or like I'm starting my day, I'm starting my week, I got a meal prep. It's a great time to listen to a podcast.
Tracy also sends us a lot of positive messages when she listens in, which has also been helping us stay motivated.
Yeah, podcast is fun. I think it's all good conversation topics, which I think is very relatable.
Yeah, and an interesting tidbit. So Tracy is also friends with Sarah. Sarah, if you want to see her episode, watch episode, episode 20. Wow. And in Sarah's episode, she talks about how important is physical attraction. Mm-hmm. And so we all gave our ratings on the episode. And so Tracy asked...
So my rating is a 5. I asked my partner Edric, and his rating was a 10.
Whoa.
And then, sorry, I wanna further expand on this. My sister's rating is a 3. Wow. Her partner's rating is an 8.
But that means
trend.
Tracy and her sister are winning in life. Is the point I want to make. Edric's rating.
I don't think it's that I'm winning in life. I think that there's a trend.
I think you're winning in life too.
Like he's a type?
It means no. It means you're a 10. You're a walking 10.
Exactly.
Your sister's a walking 10.
Sure.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that.
I think this is a good time to throw in. I've seen what other guests have done on the podcast about my relationship status. I am currently in a long-term relationship and have been in one for like the past 5 years, roughly. So that's my current relationship status.
Wow.
Seems relevant to this this podcast topic because this current relationship that I'm in, I did long distance for.
Oh, shoot. I didn't know you did it for the current one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's even better.
Wow.
So we're really excited to have you on, Tracy. And I'm just curious, what do you like about this podcast specifically? Why, what makes it engaging for you?
So this sounds very similar to what other guests on the podcast have said, but I am in a long-term relationship, so I don't necessarily relate to the dating in your young post-college era life, but I think it's interesting in 2 ways. One way is that I have never online dated, and it's just interesting to learn about the world, the culture, the hardships and the joys that you get out of it. That's very fascinating to me. But also I think it makes for good conversation topics. I think even being in a relationship, the podcast episode that just released was, do you think there is a one? So you can figure out when we're recording this because it's happening in real time.
Yeah.
And that's a fun question to ask my partner and to ask my sister, what do you think about this? I think even being in a long relationship, there's still like so much that you can glean out of like the conversation topics that come out of this podcast, which is fun.
Yeah. Nice. And so, as usual, we're going to start off with any tea. And Sasanya.
I got in this morning and I was like itching to say some tea. So I had like other tea that I wanted to tell everybody from this weekend, but honestly, like that is so irrelevant right now. So my tea, guys, remember how I said that I wanted to be like, I want to be in my single era right now? I feel like the events of this morning have made me potentially want to change my mind.
Whoa.
So
the morning just started.
Yeah, no, my morning, I've been up for like 2 hours.
Wow.
I've been out of my house for like an hour and a half. Yeah, so I went to bed pretty late last night and I live by myself right now and I thought it was all great, life was peaceful, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, okay, it wasn't the middle of the night, maybe like 4:45 a.m., randomly this building that I newly moved into, there's like an alarm and it's like evacuate building and it's pitch black outside. I know there's like wild animals running out there because I've seen turkeys and stuff, which don't seem that aggressive, but like Canada geese, like those guys like to fight.
They are
and so
aggressive.
I just keep hearing this alarm and like I still sleep with the lights on in my apartment because I am a little bit afraid of the dark. And I was just there, like, in my bed, like, literally shaking because I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should go outside because, like, that's really scary because I'm going to be all by myself in the dark with, like, I don't know if other people are leaving their houses. I don't know if there's, like, scary people outside. I don't know if there's, like, danger inside. And there was, like, an emergency number for the building that I tried to call and, like, nobody, like, it was supposed to be 24/7. Nobody answered. I'm going to contact my building for this. But, like, I was just, like, having, like, a full-blown, like, panic moment. And I was like, it is so scary to be alone. Like, in that moment, I was like, wow, if I had somebody to call to either calm my nerves or, like, because nobody could, like, at the end of the day, if there's a fire at my door, no one can do anything about it, whether I'm single or in a relationship. But at least it would have, because I didn't want to call my parents and, like, stress them out because they're far away and, like, I don't know, I was just having, like, a meltdown. And I was like, wow, like, maybe it's, like, a good idea to, like, start building a roster again or just to talk to someone because I was just so scared. And I have a friend that lives really close by, but she, like, I don't know, for some reason it always feels like she is a good friend. Like, you should be able to call your friends when you're, like, scared or going through something, but, like, for example, all my friends, like, my phone's on DND, like, always, like, after no one can get through bedtime. And so, like, for me to wake up, like, a girlfriend to, like, calm me down, I don't know, it felt like asking for too much. But if it was, like, a romantic person, I felt like that's part of the job description. That you have to do it, that you have to calm me down. Or, like, I don't know, Google something and figure out if I need to leave the apartment or not. Like,
well, I'm confused. Why can't you call your family?
Because they're gonna just get stressed out. Like, they're so far away, and they're gonna, if I call my mom or my dad, my dad would just, like, flip out. But I'm like, hey, Dad, like, it's so scary outside. I don't know if I should leave. This alarm won't turn off. I don't know what to do. Like, he's gonna try to help, but, like, from far away, my scaredness and stress and worry is gonna, like, amplify times 100 on him. And then he's gonna be like, this is why I said you shouldn't live alone. This is why I said you should be married. This is why I said you should have a roommate. Whoa. So, yeah, that's it's not exciting tea, but I'm, like, my mind is opening back up to the idea of, like, maybe not having, like, a single girl summer.
That's scary. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah.
That's never fun. When I recently moved into living by myself, like, within the first week, my toilet broke, and I just thought, like, oh my god, like, this is why you don't live by yourself. You know, you have to deal with all these issues on your own. That's hard.
Was Edric, like, any help when you had to face those issues?
Nope.
What about for, like, emotional support? Did you call him to, like, complain? Like,
I think I am lucky to have a good roster of support outside of my relationship.
Okay.
Which we can get into this long distance topic. But when I am in a moment of panic, I actually do often call my girlies.
oh.
And I think it is also, like, situational and helpful. I have people who live in different time zones, so if this happened to me at 4:45 in the morning, like, for other people it's 7:45 in the morning, so that's not too bad. But yeah, I call my girlies a lot when trouble is around.
Feel bad because especially this past weekend, like I think it was Saturday night, one of my girlfriends was she was experiencing something super freaky, and like, dude, I was like asleep. Like I was like, that phone was on Do Not Disturb. It was on the other side of the room, and like I feel guilty if I'm not available to help you. It's kind of like shitty of me to ask you for help. Yeah. And so that's why for some reason with somebody with a potential romantic interest, it feels okay that I'm not here for you, but you should still be there for me.
Yeah. So like I'm hearing like a couple of things here. So the reason why
destroy me.
The reason why you're not calling your friends is because you yourself are not super good at responding to them. And then also you don't know if they will respond.
No, I mean, I feel like they will respond, but yeah, I'm unsure. At 4:45 in the morning, like, okay. And I would just feel so guilty because I know my friends have different sleep schedules than me.
Yeah.
So I just know that I'm gonna like make them have a grimy next day, and I'm just like, oh, like, you know, I don't want to impose my needs on my friends, but on a romantic partner, dude, that is your responsibility.
Oh shoot.
And I feel very shameless about that. But with a friend, I care about my friend. I'm just like, oh, no. Like, I don't want you to, like, ruin your sleep because of me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Tracy brings up a valid point about friends in different time zones.
Yeah.
Should have thought about that.
I guess the other thing that I want to bring up is you're assuming that whoever you're romantically involved in is gonna handle the situation well. But not all guys would.
True, but then that could be used as like a test point, and it's like, all right, are you going to stick around after this or not? If you handle it badly, like, there's the door.
Yeah, but what I mean is you're saying, like, you are open to, like, finding someone.
Yeah.
But that person, like, it just feels to me like maybe this is kind of like the tipping point, but maybe there's other things that led you to, like, being open again.
I don't know. We'll explore that in later episodes.
Okay. We're going to jump into today's topic. We're talking all about long-distance relationships and the do's and don'ts, best practices. Have you guys ever been in a long-distance relationship before?
I have. I've been in two. So one of them was like a year long, and then the other one, which is my current relationship, we did long distance for about 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're like a veteran. I did long distance for September, October, November, December, for like 4 months, but like 3 months in, I was like done.
Okay. And then I guess for me, I don't know if you can count Houston, but that's the closest
that's long distance.
But we were just... Like, I feel like that was a talking stage. So
no, it's okay.
But talking stage it's still long distance.
You're communicating long distance, yeah.
Okay. And so I guess that was like 3 months, maybe. Dang it. Sonia and I, we can't do more.
Wait, no. Sorry. I have to put an asterisk. My relationship was like, I don't know, like 3 to 5 years long, but
yeah.
the portion of it was only
totally.
A little bit different than yours.
No, I just meant like, you know, when we can't see them, that's about how much we can take.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm not.
Okay, fine. I won't be
I'm
offended.
not trying to insinuate anything.
Okay, I'll take it back.
Okay. Do you get offended by me easily?
Today I'm just feeling in like some type of mood, Ethan.
Okay. No, it's okay. We take you as you are, and we're very happy that you're here. Tracy, do you think, and Sonia, do you think that anyone can do long distance, or do you think specific people are better suited for it?
I know another question that like you're kind of touching on is like, do you start long distance as long distance, or do you start in person and then go to long distance? Both of my long distance relationships were like caused by situation. Like we were already dating or talking to each other in person, and then like due to circumstance like did long distance. I think anyone can do long distance, but I think like you have to be on your A game, which I mean we'll dive into in this podcast, right? But like you have to be committed to do it.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Yeah.
I guess building off that, do you think it's always better to start in person versus starting long distance, Tracy? Like, you've only started in person, but do you think that is the best way to get started?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know because I've never done it the other way. I think, yeah, I don't have an answer to
I mean,
that.
you were starting to do it the other way.
You started
Ethan.
doing it the other way. What is your opinion on that?
I think it's better to start in person. And I've been reading this book recently, and it's talking about how the foundation of like marriage and strong romantic relationships is a friendship. And I think it's just so much harder to cultivate a friendship with someone that you haven't even met in person.
Okay.
And of course, like, friendships can form however, like, in whatever way. Like, lots of people meet online, playing video
Totally.
games, I don't know, like chat rooms, and they're really able to hit it off. I just think for most people, it's a little easier just because you're able to observe their mannerisms, and also, like, a lot of times when you meet in person, it's over some kind of activity and some kind of shared experience. And it's the same like meeting online, but I feel like you see like one side of them and not like their whole persona.
I feel like you can have like a whole relationship be based off of just meeting, like just online. Like, for example, I feel like you and Houston could have made it. Even though
What?
you guys just met online. Because, like, I feel like it's kind of like, I feel like it more depends on the person. You know how you asked, like, can anyone do it?
Yeah.
Like, I would have to disagree with Tracy that I think certain people, like, I always say I'm an in-person person. Whenever people complain about, oh, you never call back, you take years to text back, and I'm just like, I'm an in-person person. If you're in person with me, you will see that I don't go on my, like, if I'm with other people, I'm
You're not
never
on
on
your
my
phone.
phone.
Sure.
So, like, I will give you my undivided attention, but when I'm not with you, not that it's hard to get a hold of me, but I just don't feel that connection, and I don't feel that desire to be like, to want to be on my phone. So I feel like if you are a person who can have that connection and like can establish that kind of relationship online, I think even without starting by meeting them, I think you can start online and then you can move towards something more serious and then meet up like you and Houston were going to do.
Yeah. I think you're right, Sonia. And
Wow, this is like the first time
No,
you said that.
I think
but the
you're
butt is coming.
no.
No butt?
So I guess a follow-up question that I have is, so I agree with Sonia, and maybe the way that you start is not so important, but to make a long distance relationship work, it requires like a specific mindset and people who are like ready for it.
Sure.
And so what other qualities do these people need to have to make a long distance relationship work?
I deflect this question to Tracy.
That's a good question. I think that, I think communication is really important, which I think, it's interesting because all of the questions that are brought up in long distance are, the same questions that you could ask for a non-long distance relationship. It just, test it a little bit further. I think when we are, thinking about the pros and cons of doing long distance, I think it's interesting that, the pro is that you can test how strong your relationship is because you have to be good at communicating. You have to be good with effectively really enjoying that person's personality, because every physical part of a relationship is gone. You cannot go to the grocery store together. Something that is so easy is gone. And I think the qualities that you're looking for in a long distance relationship is an effective communicator, but also a personality that you get along with, because that is all you have access to. And I think the con to that is you have to be in a strong relationship. You have to be both strong at communicating and trusting and effectively managing your time.
Oh, yeah.
Which, again, all of these things are relevant for an in-person relationship. It just, it's tested a little bit further with long distance.
Yeah. What does effective communication look like in long distance relationships? Does that mean that you are talking every day, multiple times a day. Like, what does it look like if one person's not feeling so great about things?
In long distance relationships I have done in the past, it has been setting aside like a specific day and time to call. Okay. And like that would be like regularly on the calendar. And it would also include a like, hey, this is the time that we bring up things we're upset with each other on.
Wow.
Because like I think like the good and bad, the pro and con about doing long distance is that you have to manage your time in your relationship, because your relationship like cannot take up all of your time, which is great. Like it's great that you can foster a sense of independence and like not be codependent, gain a sense of individuality, but it does mean that like you have to allocate time. So like effective communication for me was like setting up specific days and times to call, like blocked out in the calendar. And then like messaging in between, but I am not a great texter. So I would like save things that I wanted to talk about from a day or a week for this like scheduled time. Yeah.
So do you think, because like personally when I was like going through long distance, and I'm going to say it like it's like an ailment that I was going through, because it was genuinely so exhausting. It was like during my final year of undergrad, like I had the hardest classes I've ever had. So I was busy, so busy with school. It was in the middle, like peak of COVID. And that's why we were long distance, because he had to go back to his like country. But like I felt it was so like it was impossible to manage my time. Like I felt guilty if I wanted to take a long bath instead of like being there to talk to him every night. Like I would take the quickest shower so that we could talk every night. And at some point I started to like resent those calls so much that like every time I would see that name pop up on my phone, like the attraction was like dead, and I was like, oh my god, like it felt like a chore. So how did you keep it? And like obviously maybe this has to do with like the dynamics and what you're talking about on those calls, but I guess how did you guys come up with the idea of like, hey, we should make a schedule, instead of like, oh my gosh, we have to talk every morning and every night and text all the time? And like, I guess how did you decide on that schedule?
I came up with a schedule because I similarly had burnout of like, oh my gosh, I cannot call you every day. Like I'm so busy. And we were like, okay, if we can't make time for each other every day, like once a week, like 2 hours once a week, or like we will set up a situation that works with the schedule. But I also think that like falling out of interest or love or whatever you want to call it, again, it's like it's not specific to long distance necessarily. Like relationships have beginnings and endings, and like that could also just be a sign that your relationship is ending. Like because you could be in person and still resent those calls. Totally. Like still resent seeing them.
Yeah, like, that's really true.
Something I'm trying to understand better is in that situation, Zanya, if you guys were still in person, like would you still feel the same way? Like
no, because I don't know. I don't want to keep going back to like that I am an in-person person, but I feel like, especially back then, because I was younger, I was like an especially worse communicator. So it was just generally hard for me to open up, and I was going through kind of troubling stuff with my family as well at the time, and I just got like really like overwhelmed. But because he wasn't there in person, like because I couldn't just like sit with him and like look at him face to face and like talk, or like just like a little hug or like something, it felt like I couldn't open up. It just felt like I'm talking to this, like I got really disassociated from him, and I felt like I'm just, because there was, and also because it was COVID, there was like no sign of like when is he gonna come back. It kind of felt like this like endless tunnel that I was stuck in, and I was like, I do not feel good when I'm talking on the phone. I feel better if I'm in person with my friends. I feel better if I'm literally doing just about like if I'm studying, like but I do think it would have been completely different if we were in person. Because I feel like it's easier for me to communicate when I'm in person, especially about, daily stuff, okay, but because I was going through such like a difficult time, it was really hard to like open up and communicate over the phone.
Yeah. I think you bring up two really key points that would really be helpful if you are thinking about doing a long distance relationship, one is making sure that you have a plan to see each other in person somewhat regularly. So not like saying like it has to be every month, but knowing that, okay, in 2 months he's gonna come see me, and I can look forward to that time.
That would have helped me hold on a little bit,
right.
I think.
And maybe you didn't have the option, right? Because it's like peak of COVID, and then I think the other strategy is having a set end date to the long distance. So like knowing like, okay, right now because of circumstances we're separated, but the two of us are going to actively make a choice that in 1 year or a year and a half, we're going to do whatever we can to live in the same area. And I think that like knowing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel is really helpful.
Tracy, do you agree with these two statements Ethan made?
I Ethan brought up the exact same points that I wanted to bring up, which is that I think long distance is a means to an end. Like this, like a relationship is not, in my personal opinion, I don't feel like a relationship is meant to stay in long distance forever. Yeah. And like long distance is just a tool and is a means to an end. Knowing the end date is so critical because I feel like if I reached a point in the current relationship that I am in where we were talking about like, well, if we are not actively trying to live together, like beyond the circumstances of school is pushing us in different directions and like I'm going to be here for a separate time, when we got to a place where we started looking for places to work, there was some sense of like, if we're not actively trying to live in the same area, why are we still in this relationship? Like you're not working to the means to the end. And then I lasted through my long distance relationships by counting the days till I would next see them. Like at every in my long distance relationship that was a year, every time I went to LA to see him, I booked the next flight for when I would next see him. Because like you need something to look forward to. Like you need something to be counting the days down. Obviously, like with COVID, there's not a different set of like endless tunnel of abyss. But I think those 2 points are really important, Ethan.
Wait, can I ask a question, Tracy? Because I feel like you are quite the expert on this. No, I'm like learning a lot.
Wait, but I said it first.
Yeah, but did you apply it to your life?
No.
No, I'm kidding. I guess what I want to ask, so yes, I used COVID as the excuse for the first time, long distance not working out. More recently, when I was talking to a serial dater, I go back home to Canada a lot, like for long periods of time. And I am I'm obsessed with my family. It's probably like, I don't even know, maybe it's unhealthy. I really don't know. And I am famously known, I guess, for leaving my phone in my room and just like living out my days. Like, and obviously that's not a good thing if you're in a relationship and you're separated, even if it's for like, let's say a month and a half. So I guess, where was I going with this? I guess I'm trying to figure out how do you not feel like disassociated from that person? Because even in, you know how you said there's not a huge difference between long distance and in person, even in person, I feel like I can speak for myself. I'm somebody who needs to see the other person like at least once a week. And if I don't see you in person once a week, my mind's going to start like, I don't know if it's like my attachment style, like if I'm just like if it's anxiousness or if it's just like, but I get very like desensitized to the other person. And I forget almost that, oh my gosh, like there's somebody that I like or that likes me. And it just becomes like, oh, this random person, until I'm back, boots on the ground, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, all the feelings are back now. Like, are you ready? Like, hey. Yeah. So I guess, yeah.
So, I mean, I think this is an interesting question because I'm in like a phase of my life where my relationship is old and like I'm very comfortable and stable in my relationship. But yeah, when I go home to LA, I like don't talk for a month. Like I'm off my phone. Like I am with my family. I am similarly like obsessed with my family. And I've just made the boundaries very clear of, hey, while I'm at home, we're not going to talk. Like I'm I'm prioritizing my family. Like, we will talk, let's say, in 2 weeks. Like, I will set up a time.
Okay.
Because I can set aside a couple hours.
Yeah,
but
true.
like,
but every day, like, to take away that time from my family that is already so limited, to talk to you every morning, every night, and text you all the time. Like, I'm not back home to be on my phone.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm understanding from Tracy, both from, you know, your longer long distance periods and from these shorter ones, is that you really have to communicate your boundaries.
I think, yeah, and, you know, the follow-up to that is that, like, both parties have to be understanding.
Right.
Like, I could imagine the other party being like,
Absolutely
what?
not.
Like, we're not gonna talk?
Call me every day.
Call me every day, but, like, if, perhaps, like, this is a situation that comes up every year during, like, the December holiday season.
Right.
Like, a lot of people will go back to be with family, or they will go out and travel with friends.
Right.
So, like, people are just similarly in a busy place. So when I am making the ask of, I'm probably not going to talk to you for the month of December, they might either be like, oh, okay, that's fine because I'm also with family, or, oh, okay, that's great, I'm gonna plan a trip then because then I have time.
Right.
So I well, again, like, this is long distance and also non-long distance related.
Have you ever had a situation, Tracy, where, like, you're trying to propose, like, you know, like, let's say you're like, okay, we're going to talk in 2 weeks, and they're like, you know what, I'm actually free right now, I'd like to talk every week. Like, you know, where the other person would like, or for some reason, they're better at managing their time, and they are more available to talk more frequently, and you're trying to be the one to be like, because it almost feels rude to say it. And I think that's why I've had a hard time, because it's like, we're just people pleasers, and so it's really hard to tell somebody, like, hey, like, even though you can do this, I can't, and I can't meet your needs.
So as the leading expert here, what I have to say to that is,
Hi, Houston.
I guess what I'm realizing is that a lot of people, they have well, we all know this, they have different love languages.
Yeah,
sure.
And I think for a lot of people, their love language is quality time. And when you're in person, that's really easy to have because you're able to spend time together. There is, like, you can give them a hug if they need it, or you can just spend time just being near each other.
Yeah.
And that's really valuable. I think I realized that when you're separated and you're having, like, phone calls and other things to fill the time, that's less quality time and more of an act of service. Like hopping on the call and being very intentional and having that kind of call and communication with them. And so I think people who really value quality time, a lot of times, like, that phone call is not going to cut it. And I think the other thing that I realize is that it's important to kind of adjust the expectations and also
totally.
communicate that.
Yeah.
I think that what Tracy mentioned before is awesome because you understand and communicate your boundaries and say, hey, when I'm with my family, especially, like, in this stage of my life, I want to spend a lot of time with them. It doesn't mean that I don't want to spend time with you, but it's just going to be a little less. And when you communicate that, they're able to readjust their expectations and they know, okay, this is nothing
to do with me. Exactly. There's no problems. Yeah.
This is just how they want to spend these 2 weeks or something.
Okay.
And I think that goes a long way.
I thought about something from what you were saying, Ethan, and I think it's worth remembering that, like, a long distance relationship is still a relationship. Like, just like my current in-person relationship, like, I had calls and then I had dates, like, long distance dates. Like, I think you can watch a movie together, you can play a game together. The thing that my friend did in COVID, which I thought was really cute, was for his birthday, he mailed everyone paint sets, and everyone did paint and sip, and, like, everyone, like, showed, like, oh, we had a theme.
That's cute.
And that, like, that's such a cute date. And I think, like, again, just like an in-person relationship, I would have calls where we would just, like, catch up, and then I'd have, like, dates where I would dress up and like, you know, do the thing, have an activity. Like, and it is very, I think you can make quality time in a long distance relationship, but it is worth noting that that is different from, like, your calls that you're doing, the messages that you are sending.
Yeah, and building off of that, if you guys listen to what happened with Houston, this is like maybe episodes 7 through 10-ish. Sonia gives me some really good tips where, like, when I was trying to organize a date, she's like, send her flowers or write a card and read it to her while you're doing the call. And I think, like you pointed out, Tracy, there's many things that you can do outside of just talking with them every day that can really show them that you love them. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times, from this book that I've been reading, I've been learning that love as a feeling, it's going to change over time, and how you feel, you can't always rely on that because you're not always going to feel like you love them.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you like take actions out of love, you're like building that foundation where you're like, I'm going to sacrifice for you, and in return that person will want to do the same. And then like the feelings, but the actions of love come easier over time just because you've been doing it. And so I guess that means like being as thoughtful as you can, like getting their friends that they live in or live near involved, and getting them to like send them messages for you, or like buy them things from you, or I don't know, you just have to get a little more creative. But
you do have to get creative. My current partner and I set letters every like month anniversary, like on the 8th of every month, and that was like just a tiny thing that like you could really look forward to, of like, wow, I got a letter, that's so fun.
It's like a very non-tiny thing.
And then something that one of my former roommates partners did was they DoorDashed her breakfast on her birthday, but at that time the partner was living in Singapore, so it was like a crazy, like, stayed up super late to make sure the DoorDash arrived in the morning. But I think, like, that's so sweet. And, like, you have to get creative, but I think there's still thoughtful ways to, like, be involved in each other's lives.
Can I ask another question? Just because I feel like, not that everybody has to do long distance, but I feel like it could come up. And I'm really trying to cure myself. I've been telling everyone in my life, like, this podcast is very healing for me. I don't know how, like, viewers feel about it, but personally, same. I feel very, like, it helps me out a lot. So I guess what I'm trying to ask is, how much of a successful long-distance relationship has to do with the person in front of you? And how much is it, like, you yourself? So, for example, looking back at this time during COVID, which it was also COVID in Ecuador, where my then boyfriend was. And, like, there it was a little bit harder to control, and there was political issue. Like, he just had a complicated life, and he also was in his final year of school doing it virtually, like, so, you know, things were tough. But, you know, he did used to, like, if he's texting me and I'm like, no, I can't talk right now, I'm studying, he did DoorDash me my favorite food. He, for my birthday, like, from a distance, contacted every single one of my friends, sat there and edited a cute birthday video, like, so he, you know, every party that he was at, because we had like a tiny bit of time difference, he would leave his parties just to be able to, like, call me, because that's when I'm leaving school, like, leaving studying. So I don't know if, like, I don't know if I'm selfish and, like, I can't make the time because he was able to do it, or if it's just that, you know, maybe, you know, like you said, there was a sense of, like, okay, maybe the relationship is ending for other reasons, and that's why I'm not feeling like I want to make that time.
It's a good question, Ethan. I don't know if you have an answer to that.
Yeah, that's loaded. I think that it's neither on you nor on him. Well, I think when you started feeling that this was, like, becoming too much and you weren't really feeling it anymore, that was the point to say, hey, like, there's something going on, and I think we need to make adjustments, and can we figure this out together?
Yeah.
And I think for you, that would have looked like not talking or not feeling like you had to talk
And I did do that.
day.
I was like, I think, not that I wanted a break, but I just told him that I was tired of the talks because, like I said, personal stuff going on.
Right.
And I was like, can we just, like, maybe, like, not call every day, and I'll reach out if I need something, and you can too, but, like, can we just, like, slow down on, like, the constant communication?
Yeah.
But I think sometimes the other person really needs that. So, like, I did try to, I guess, establish my boundaries, but I guess they weren't okay with them, or maybe I didn't communicate them well. Like, I'm hearing the way Tracy sets her schedule and like establishes her boundaries, and I'm just like, okay, maybe that would have been a better way to bring up the topic as opposed to being like, hey, I need a break, which sounds more aggressive and like there's a problem and there's something wrong.
Right. So I guess I'm seeing two things. Like, if you identify it early, it doesn't have to like jump to such a big break.
That's
and
true.
You can make the adjustments early.
It can be subtle, yeah.
And then the other thing that I think I realize is that both people have to be like fully on board with the whole game plan.
Yeah.
And so they have to both agree on the frequency of the talking and also, I guess, how to love each other well and like give the other person those love languages that they need to receive. And you both have to be okay with this is what the other person needs, and I have to be okay with that. This says nothing about me or how they view me, but in the situation that we're in, like, I have to be okay with this for this certain time. And I think if any of those don't happen, the expectations are not matched, or you can't agree on a game plan, then it's not on you guys. It's just is doomed to fail because you guys are at different places when it comes to long-term or long-distance relationships.
Yeah, you put it in such a lovely way, Ethan. I think it's a compromise, and I think, again, that doesn't feel special to long-distance relationships. Like even in-person relationships there's a lot of compromise. Yeah.
Is there ever any good things about long distance relationship bros?
I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna go
Okay,
off
go on.
all day about
Let
all
her
the
cook.
good things about a long distance relationship. So my long distance relationship that was a year long happened when I was a first year in college, and I think that is a hard time. Like, you are just learning how to be an independent person. And I think in the relationship before that one, I was like so codependent in my relationship, and I think long distance was so beautiful because I got to develop like a sense of independence, a self of individuality. Like, I got to explore like the things that I was interested in. Also, like, first year in college, away from home, like it was just also that time of life, but I felt like I could make my own friends, I could create my own support groups, and like really develop a strong sense of self while also being in a relationship. And I felt like that was really hard in my former relationship, where it was just like very codependent. It was very hard to like live a separate life. And I think the thing that my current partner wanted to add in here is that the benefit of a long distance relationship is you really test how strong your relationship is. Like, you test if like this relationship is going to work, if like you really are there for each other's personalities, if you can compromise, if you can communicate, and like learn about each other even though it is not easy. I think like that's another thing. And then like the like fun part of long distance is you get to travel. Like, you get to like explore a new city. I was thinking this morning about how fun it is to get to explore a new city that like someone you love calls their home. Like that's so exciting to like see a city and have like a tour guide baked into the city, and like they can take you to your favorite spots, and you can like learn new things and like meet new people. Like, all of that is like so exciting. That's like long distance is like can be really great in those cases. I don't know. You can throw in why you also think long distance is great.
No, that's why we had to. That's why we had to have you here, Tracy.
Pure silence.
But hearing you say this stuff, yeah, I could say, yeah, I do agree. I think if you could find a way to make it work, to get on the same page, like, I think all of those things are great. And like, you know, other stuff, like you said, having your own time for your interests, like to still do the things you love, because in-person relationships, sometimes that gets harder a little bit because they're always wanting to hang out with you. Or if you're going out and they're just like, oh, well, like, you're just going to dinner, like, I'll come too. Or if you're doing, and it's just like a lot of togetherness where, not because you don't love them, but sometimes it's nice to just like do something by yourself or with your friends. So yeah, I think that's like a really big pro.
I think just in my personal experience, I feel really lucky to to have such a sense of like individuality and independence and self-confidence, and I do think that a lot of that is attributed to like the partner that I was seeing in the formative years when I was like gaining a sense of self was just not around, and I like had to do like, you know, had to learn how to fix a toilet on my own.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for the viewers out there, let's say they're thinking about getting into a long distance relationship, or they're trying to figure out how to do it a little better. Is there anything that, like in your experience, that your partners have done for you that just made you feel very seen and loved that we haven't talked about, that you think people could benefit from?
I touched on this already. I think letters are nice. I think like when I receive a package in the mail, even if I bought it myself, I get so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a package and it's like for me.
Yeah.
I think letters are so lovely and not that hard. Like, not that hard to do. And then something that you said, Ethan, which I really like, is the idea of like getting the people in their lives involved, like getting roommates involved or family involved, like having other people like, and just like that creates a nice sense of like, wow, you really still are a part of the community that I have in my own space.
I feel like it's mostly just like doing, like you said, like you both have said, like not just the communicating all the time, like the actual acts of like loving things that you can do. Like back in my long distance time, because I used to have long distance every summer as well. That was 4 months also. But it was just the endless 4 months that broke me. But like there used to be like, you know, I think they have like necklaces or bracelets, like, or like an app. Back in my time, it was like an app on the phone where if
What do you mean back in my time?
where if he touches the app on his phone, it'll like vibrate for me. So like we can, that's like something we can, I don't know. It's not contact, but it's like,
But
I don't
it's
know,
so
it was
cute.
cute.
Yeah.
What about like if you like are in a long distance relationship, like once a month you recorded a video message and say like, hey, I'm really missing you right now. This is like what's going on. This is how I'm feeling.
But you can't do that if you talk every single day.
Yeah. And then you like compile it into video, and then when the long distance is over, you give it to them, and they can kind of see.
Wait, so
like,
you are good at long distance.
That's a very cute idea.
I just can't execute, you know?
Yeah.
Good ideas.
I did so much Googling in my long distance relationships.
Get creative.
Yeah, ways to get creative. Like, there's so much out there.
Like Netflix party.
If you look for it. Yeah, Netflix party.
Yeah.
Lots of games you can play online. Like, I think there's a lot if you look for it. Yeah. A lot of people do it.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
You're making it seem less intimidating and horrible and scary.
Yeah. There you go. That's why we had to have the expert. Well, thank you for playing, and I'm ready to transition into our end segment.
Totally.
Okay, so Tracy, you haven't seen this guy yet, so like I'll show you his hinge right now. But on episode 25 or 25 episode special, we review this profile, and so I'm just gonna let you like flip through them just a little bit, and then we're going to go shopping for him. And so he's been wanting to like upgrade his wardrobe, and we're going to, so you can kind of see like
His vibe.
yeah, and
I see the vibe.
we're gonna hop on this website. It's called Uniqlo. They make a lot of good essential pieces, especially like, well, they're Japanese, so especially for everyone. And so we're gonna hop on the app. We're gonna pick about 5 pieces for him. Let's assume that he's starting from 0.
Okay.
So we're gonna pick essential pieces that we think like
basics. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So here I'm gonna start recording my screen, and I guess, is there anything going through your head that you think he absolutely needs? Right now I'm thinking for 5 pieces, maybe we do like 5 tops, like definitely layering pieces, and then one like pants.
Yeah, I
That's
was
fine.
thinking bought even 5 tops is like excessive, Ethan. At least like throw one accessory in there maybe.
Oh.
Either a
Yeah,
hat,
I think
a
at
necklace,
least
a bracelet,
maybe
something.
3 tops.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
A
leaning-
bottom and accessory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll get us started. So I was looking. Why are you laughing? I was looking at sweaters.
For some context for the viewers, both Ethan and Sonia are very stylish people. So if you need a fashion tip recommendations, that could also be done in this podcast.
Tracy's too kind.
And Ethan said, "Yeah, I am stylish."
He's like, yeah, I'm from New York.
So I was thinking, oh shit, this is all sold out. Okay, but
You have good taste, I guess, if it's sold out.
I was thinking of this.
Ooh.
So, and I really like this olive color.
Okay.
But this is something that he could wear to work. He could wear on a date. Can wear over a college shirt or just
Yeah.
by itself. And I feel like this is like very form fitting. It would show off like his arms and
But not too form-fitting that it
yeah,
gets...
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I think these kinds of looks
Yeah.
are super versatile. Like it's very comfortable. You could wear it to the office, but you could also wear it on a first date. Like I think
totally.
Yeah.
there are ways to dress it up and dress it down, which I think is very versatile and nice. Yeah.
Okay. Would you be cool with this being one of those pieces?
Yeah.
And I like
Okay.
the color that you picked also.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a very... There's a lot of room in this color to
Yeah.
play with it.
Yeah, you could also like put a light jacket over it.
Yeah,
And okay.
All right.
Okay.
Tracy, take it away.
My thought was I think you need a good button down.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm.
Solid. I agree.
Like I think in general, like I don't necessarily think any one matters, but I think having a good button down is always useful for the office, for a first date. Like having something that's collared is nice. You can layer things on top of it.
Feel free to grab.
Yeah. Is there a color that you're like leaning towards? Like, are you
Oh.
thinking more bluish? Because I'm seeing a lot of blues and
I am
whites.
seeing a lot of blues here.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about material. So
Yeah.
like this is like cotton
yeah.
dress shirts, but then for someone who maybe just is looking for 5 pieces,
Yeah.
do you think this like we should go cotton, or I'm thinking like
Let's just look up shirts. Where do you?
you can just search it. Yeah, go for it.
Because yeah, I agree. Like I feel like those cotton ones that we were looking at with
Yeah.
the pocket, it just looked very like only office.
Yeah,
And I feel like
super
the thing
formal.
that you're going for is like, you know, like kind of what Ethan has right now, or like something that you
Yeah.
can wear formally or informally.
Yeah. There are these open collared short sleeves.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, what Sonia's touching on, I think, is true of like something that you can wear formally and informally. And it does not need to be like that white button down that
Yeah.
you wear to
Tucked
fancy
into your
events,
pants
tucked
and
into
with
your
the belt.
pants.
Yeah. My only thing with this is I'm going to say I'm not a huge fan of short sleeves button downs, but
Oh, come at me. You want to take this outside?
you can make it work.
You,
but I
you
feel
told
like
me it's a summer party today.
no, it is. But I feel like if you're focused on your 5 staple pieces, I feel like sorry, we keep going back to linen. It does not need to be linen, like the official material linen, like pure linen, but like that kind of vibe. And I feel like a longer sleeve one is like more maybe flexible. So, you know, you could roll up the sleeves. You can kind of like, I don't know, I feel like you have more room. You could wear it open. Like I know the model's wearing this shirt, the short sleeve one open. But I don't know, I feel like maybe that's like a personal preference.
You wanna go see? So I love Tracy's pick because it's perfect for the summer. So let's say
Okay.
you're going to the beach or you're going to
you're
like a
right.
pool party. I would pick
Wait, is
that.
this my turn now?
No. I'm like, can you show them like what kind of shirt you're talking about? Like I searched up linen shirt.
Oh, like
but-
any, like this, like in this like khaki color.
Okay,
You could also
yeah.
wear it buttoned up, buttoned down. Or like if you're only getting 5 pieces, I would go for like a blue or like a white or off-white for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe off-white. I think crisp white is like kind of a little bit
It's
dated.
hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not into it that much. So like maybe this kind
Hard to
of
maintain.
beige color
Yeah.
would look cool. My pick for our friend would be I kind of think jeans, like a good pair
Yeah.
of jeans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day
totally.
for the grocery store, for whatever errands, for work, for dates. And I feel like the big thing about jeans, the reason I can't pick like the perfect pair online is the fit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like it takes me like 3 hours to pick one good pair of jeans.
Right.
And I would honestly, like, my recommendation would be to not go for skinny jeans
Yeah.
because they're not in style anymore. Hello. I would go for something like this, kind of like a relaxed fit, not
Okay.
necessarily baggy.
Okay.
I feel like depending on your height and your body type, if you have really long legs, which I have really short legs, so like the really, really baggy fit, like I feel like
It's hard for a short individual.
It makes you look like it's not good for your silhouette. But I feel like I forget how tall our friend is, but I feel like in general you can just like whether you're tall or you're short, you can always do like a straight or like a relaxed fit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a straight cut is hard to go wrong with. What color are you thinking?
Yeah.
Either
what
like a
wash?
true blue or like a light wash is like classic.
That would fit so well with that linen shirt or even
Yeah,
Tracy's
yeah,
collar
true.
shirt.
Or with the
that-
sweater.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
I think we're getting there.
So I'm a big fan of like black denim. Like
Okay.
if I only had one pair of jeans,
Really?
I feel like that's the most
has to be
versatile.
black? Okay.
Just because like if I'm going out to
Mm-hmm.
the club, not saying that that's my scene, but
I know where you
Like-
can find Ethan on the weekends.
no, I'm at church. Light denim could be like,
Okay, so maybe I agree. I see where you're coming from.
and if you need to wear to work,
Yes.
yeah,
Like denim is hard. It's a lot
more
more casual.
Yeah.
And it feels like, oh, that's a summer thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's way harder to pair in the winter.
But I will say, if you have to have one, let's say all your clothes burnt down and you need one pair of jeans to
Yeah.
start your wardrobe,
Yeah.
I do think it should be like a true blue over a black.
okay,
Agree to disagree?
Well, I'm gonna let you have your
Have your pick.
My
yeah,
pick?
yeah, yeah.
All right.
Okay, so
We've
which
gotten
one's the
3
true
pieces
blue?
down.
This
Yeah.
one?
No.
This
This one.
Yeah, Tracy's
That
got
one?
it.
Okay, this kind of true
I
blue.
feel like you could do that in the winter, like coming from Canada, and you're coming from New York. Like you could do that in the winter also,
For sure.
and in the summer. I agree. The light wash is like not as versatile,
Okay.
but the true blue is like it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm down for that. I think an alternative in terms of pants
Mm-hmm.
is like kind of what is it called? Like
Chinos?
not chino. Chinos are a little too
Yeah.
dressy,
Yeah.
but something like a carpenter pant, like something like
Like
cargo
khakis?
pants, but no pockets.
Like
no,
khakis, kind of.
I guess kind of.
Kinda,
Yeah. Let's see what they
yeah.
have.
Like more
here.
casual than chinos, but not
Yeah.
as casual as like
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
as
What accessories are you thinking, Sonia?
honestly, I was thinking about accessories, but then I was like, I think as a guy and speaking as a girl who never has a jacket, you need a jacket, dude.
Oh, that's true.
You need one, and I was gonna do black jacket to be honest, because we didn't do the black jeans or
like
bottoms.
what material are you?
It could be anything, like those little furry felt kind of. I don't know what the material is. Sorry, maybe I'm not as good as at clothes as Tracy made it out to be, but or a denim jacket, black denim, like dress up, dress down, warm enough, or like a like I don't know, something maybe not a windbreaker, but
But like a bomber.
yeah, maybe like a bomber would be great.
Yeah, so I guess what I found here are these tapered pants.
Okay.
And I think a black would go
Yes,
well
Yeah.
here.
Totally.
And this one is like kind of cuffed at the bottom.
I like it.
The other option is these linen pants. So Sonia loves her linen, but this is really great for like a relaxed look. And a light color is good.
My personal opinion is of these 5 items, you should have 2 pants.
Okay.
One should be jeans and one should be what
The black
what
pants
Ethan
that
is
Ethan's
talking about.
Yeah.
Because I think jeans are very versatile, but having something that is not jeans,
Yeah.
that is still like comfortable and like relaxed, but can be dressed up more. Like I think the problem with true blue jeans is they can only be dressed up so
To a certain
much.
extent, yeah.
Like, and
Okay.
I think
I love linen, but I think as a staple of 5, do not get the linen pants.
Get the other
Other ones
other
for
pants.
sure. Because I agree
Okay.
with Tracy. Like the black just for different situations.
yeah.
So guys, what should we choose? So we've got 2 pants.
Yeah.
We had a sweater. We had a shirt.
Yeah.
Either we're going for a casual like basic white tee because I feel like we don't have that in the cart, or we're going for like jacket. Tracy and I
I'm
were
pro
talking
jacket. I
accessory.
So I personally was leaning towards like a nice overcoat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we're all on the same page
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
So-
But it's like a basic white tee and also I think a basic black tee are you need those.
Okay, so we're not going to count those in our 5.
I think we can't, but definitely for everyone watching, like
Yeah.
make sure you have
Good to
something
have.
like that.
Good staples to have.
Yeah. Great layering piece.
Ooh. Okay, guys, I kind of already like...
Oh, I love that.
Yeah?
Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
wow. That was like, wow, I need to shop in this. What is this app?
Uniqlo?
Send me the link.
Yeah, this is great.
Oh, I have this.
This
Yeah.
is a great pick.
Dressed up, dressed
Yeah.
down,
Amazing.
comfortable.
Yeah.
I think
Good
like,
material.
you know, the key to fashion is like it's something that you are comfortable wearing and something that you feel like is comfortable, fits well on you. And I think what's nice about these choices is like it's versatile enough. Like I think
Yeah.
it can be dressed up and dressed down. It can probably be comfortable. Yeah, I love this.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hope you're watching and hope the recommendations are useful for you.
Yeah, send pictures if you buy anything.
Send the final look.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.